Welcome to this week's video. As you can see, it's a little smoky around here. I was working on a different project and yeah. Anyway, so no more excuses. This is the topic of today's video. I've designed and made PEMF machine now for quite a while, and this particular little one that I'm about to show you guys is the most amazing thing ever. It's very, very good. It's also super easy to build, okay? So no more excuses means you too can build that now. Come on the Patreon, the details will be there. But if you know what you're doing, there's enough information in this video for you guys to do it too. All right? So I'm gonna start my fan and clear up the smoke from another project. And then let's get building. So the exciting thing is we're going to take what's on the table right there and we're going to turn it into this. As you can see, there's not a lot of parts, so it should be pretty quick and simple. Let's start with the power supply. A lot of my Patreons are having issues with power supply, so we talk about that in great length. This one is a 12 volt 6 amp, right? It's not overly expensive. It's overkill for what we need, but when you buy something from Amazon, that's the way it has to be. And I'm using the ZKPP2, not the 2K, but the 2. And then I put a little switch right there. And the reason why I'm using those boxes, they're tiny little project box, and they're boxes that I had around, so might as well put them to good use. Now the coils, well, by now you should know how to make my coils. If not, just get in touch with me, I can teach you. Patreon has a lot of talk about coils and how to make them and how to calculate them with a calculator, right? Now, the reason why I really like this mini mat is because it makes an insane amount of Weber, like insane, right? And it's a really good little thing to have kicking around for specific help. Now, that is a cushion cover that I get on Amazon too. They're quite cheap and they're pretty and they're soft. Now you'll see why this thing makes a ton of Weber. Look how many coil there is in such a tight spot. And I got 3 coils in series times 2 and I paralleled them up together. So nothing overly complicated. Now, the single most important part of this whole construction, you gotta line up your coils. If not, you're gonna get a destructive feel for what we're trying to do. So I use my gauge meter, but I have many ways that I teach how to do that if you don't have a gauge meter. Mark your coils, guys, because if you move them around, you're not gonna know which way is which, you know. Then the tuck tape, not duct tape, tuck tape. That stuff is like, I don't know what the hell they made that stuff out of. It rips easy, but it sticks like crazy, really well. I solder my connection all the time because that's the single, like it's just permanent that way, right? Then for the big one like this, I usually put heat shrink on top, and I usually buy my heat shrink a little bit oversized, so by the time you shrink it down, it's really thick, offers a lot of protection. Then you secure everything in, and Bob's your uncle. Okay, so I cleared up the smoke. I went to get a haircut and waited for the smoke to clear it up so I can finish this video. The control box is not overly easy to build. It's not technical, it's just everything is so small, right? So if you're going to do your own, order a box that's a little bit bigger than the one I'm using on Amazon to give yourself some room to have everything in there. I really like this little design. I think it works really well. The two-sided tape is magical. I use 3M two-sided tape, and it just does the trick for me. Now, Weber, guys, okay? I'm trying to devise a way to be able to measure all mats in Webers, and I think that would be fantastic. Weber, for the people that don't know, is how many flux lines you have in a specific area, while gauze is how powerful those flux lines are. So you could have one flux line of 3,000 gauze, right? And then if you measure that into a Weber area, let's say this big, well, it might give you like a fraction of a Weber. Let's just make an arbitrary number, like 0.01 Weber, even though you got 3,000 gauss. On the other end, we can have the same area populated with like 10,000 lines of flux at 100 gauss, and you could have a Weber of 10, because that's, you know, that's the way it's calculated. So Weber is a much better representation of the effectiveness of a mat. See, there's my 3-sided tape there, and I just love it. Just put stuff in there and it stays there, and it's, you grab a screwdriver and you can pop it out, yet it's strong enough that you can put it there and forget about it unless you need to fix something. So when this is all done, you end up with something that looks like this. You got a ZK and a switch on top. It's a pretty slick. It doesn't take a lot of room on the floor. It's pretty sturdy, and the little LED on the button tells you that it's on. So we started with this, guys. We got some coils that we made. We got a couple power box. We got a ZK and a power supply. Then we added a cushion cover, and then a power switch, and then don't forget the wire to interconnect all the coils together, and then that gives us this end product when it's all said and done. It's pretty slick. So no more excuses, guys. If you've been on the line about building something or not and you don't want to make it too complicated, this is a perfect build for you guys to get started on. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it, right? If you need more assistance, come join us on the Patreon. I'm always there to help and answer your question. Now, this cannot replace a big mat. I don't believe it can be as efficient as a big mat. The big mat rebalances your immune system, works on the whole body as a whole. We can build a 10 coil or a 15 coil for the big mat. But if you get the experience of building something small like that, it will really boost your confidence, especially when you start seeing the result on yourself. A lot of people, like some of my friends and family, have given that to them as a gift, and it's also a really good way to introduce people to the PEMF world with a product that doesn't cost a lot of money, looks pretty good, it still looks like do-it-yourself kind of thing, which makes you, you know, proud of you. I build that, right? And it'll make them, the people you give that to, when they see the benefit they get out of it, is going to make them want a big mat down the road. Yeah, it works. It works really well to introduce people to it, and it works really well to give you the confidence to build something. Not only that, you benefit from my experience, you benefit from the toolage that I offer that way and all the mistakes that I made, so you don't have to do those things, and you end up with something that you know will work. It's not like buying a random product on Amazon or some other places. I just came across something that claimed 4,000 gauss on 2 tiny little coil. The power supply was really, really small. Anyway, at the end of the day, I'd really like to put my hands on that, because I'm pretty sure they have a giant neodymium magnet in there with a tiny little coil around it that pulses. Really shady, if you're asking me, right? But I cannot talk about it because I don't have it in front of me. But anyway, so get going, guys. You've been watching this channel. You're at the end of this video. You're still hooked up to every word I'm saying. You need the confidence to build it. Do that one. Just do it. Like, just do it, right? Just stop it. Do it. Like, there's too many people out there that think that they cannot do this stuff. You can. It doesn't have to look good, your first one. Don't worry about it. Just make it work. Have fun. And be safe.
You never find me trying to be someone else. No, I don't care. I really, really don't care. If you didn't, then you might see it now. Just haunted by the ghost here in this heartbreak house, but I don't care. I really, really don't care. I wouldn't want to clear it up. It's the light and it's the
coming up soon. The War of the Weber. Stay tuned.